Oh yeah, this is my next video. So yeah, welcome to my lifestyle chat channel. So, but if you're my live, can you like the live first of all? Thank you very much. Like the live and send us some gifts over. Let's set my gifts. Thank you so much for watching. Basically, I was previously put on an assertiveness course to learn all about how to be more assertive and how to stand up for myself. I don't know, I think maybe because somebody maybe recognised that I needed like an upskill, like an upgrade in my assertiveness, and standing up for myself, because I admit it myself, I can be a people pleaser, and I am a bit of a people pleaser actually. I'm more so than being a people pleaser. I'm very much like a go with the flow type of person. I'm a very extremely placid person, even though my family and people who know me, they wouldn't. I don't think they would agree, but I know myself. I know I'm extremely placid. Okay, it really not much bothers me. It really doesn't take a lot to rile me up. And yeah, so this can get mistaken, I think, for being like a bit of a people pleaser, because I can just be a bit like, yeah, hey, oh, yeah, whatever, yeah, okay, whatever, is that what we're doing? All right then, yeah, okay then. Yeah, I am a bit like that. So basically, I went on some assertiveness training, yeah, and I'm gonna basically, like a couple of weeks ago, because I spent a bit of time in a library, and I was in the teenage section, and a couple of books just stood out to me straight away. And one of the books that caught my attention was actually this one. If you can see the cover, it's called Self-Esteem and Being You. Yeah. And I started to read through that, and I was highly aware it's for teenagers, but I thought, you know what, don't be biased. We can always learn things, at different stages of our life. We can always enhance our self-development. I started reading and I was like, you know what, the advice in this book is actually really good. Like anybody at any age, I'm sure could benefit from the advice and the suggestions given in this book. Because, whatever age we are, even when we're well into our 50s and 60s, a lot of us, we've just ploughed through life, and we've had life experience, and we're still growing as a human. We're still learning about ourselves actually as a human being, and how to better deal with situations that were unanticipated. So I found a chapter really informative, so I thought I would tell you guys about it, because basically, we hear people say things to us, like, oh, you should be more assertive, or you need to be more assertive, or we maybe think it to ourselves, or you know what, I wish I was more assertive, or we might think to ourselves, how I can be assertive, how I can get my point across without these people thinking I'm a psycho right now, or without like shouting, I'm going crazy right now. Okay, we think these things, but do we actually know what it means? Like when somebody says, or if you think to yourself, I could have been more assertive in that situation. Actually, if you break that down, what does that actually mean? Yeah, in real, tangible terms, in real, practical terms, think about it. What does that actually mean to be more assertive? I found this definition in this book, as I said, and it was like one of those light bulb moments. I was like, yes, I got it now. I got that. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I got it. Right. I understand. I get it. I got it. I understand. Yeah, it's one of those moments. It was like, oh, I came, I saw, I conquered. Oh, I'm overstanding now, which is why I thought I would come on here and share it with you guys. So this chapter, you can see that it's entitled, you can see that, Be Assertive, Not Aggressive. Okay, so I'm going to read that right now. Yeah, and then they have this kind of chart on the difference between being aggressive and being assertive. Yeah. So they define assertiveness as, this is what they say, okay. So assertiveness is the skill, it's a skill, yeah, of being able to politely insist that your opinions be valued and responded to. Yeah. So, sometimes you think, I could have been more assertive in that situation. How do I get these people to understand my point of view, to understand my opinion, to see where I'm coming from, and to respect it, to listen to, so that I feel I've been listened to, I've said what I've had to say. How does that translate in the manner that I feel listened to, I feel heard, I feel valued and respected? Yeah, this is actually what assertiveness is. And it's a skill that can be learned. Okay, so let's carry on. Thankfully, it is a skill which can be learned. Yeah. And once learned, it will give you a chance of getting what you want. So what an amazing skill to have, okay? This is the skill we all need in life, yeah? In order to get what it is we're wanting out of life, okay? It will also put a stop to people using you as a doormat and wiping their feet all over your self-esteem, okay? As the book is titled, Self-Esteem and Being You. It's by Anita Naik. It's the author. Yeah. So assertiveness very much links to our self-esteem and how we feel about ourselves. Yeah, and stops us from feeling like, why am I being taken advantage of here? Why do people think that they can just use me here? And why am I being treated like a doormat? Okay. So when you're being assertive, you use lots of communication skills. For example, body language. But you do not use aggression, disrespect, rudeness, bossiness, or stroppiness. Yeah. Which all these things less like they make you, from being a very high value person, they make you become like a low value person. People just kind of, that this is what makes people take more and more advantage, okay, because they see that you're not you're trying to dominate yourself and you're trying to show strength, but the manner in which you're showing this strength is actually making you come across as weak, which is why people then feel the need, they can just use you more and treat you like a doormat more, and yeah. So yeah, you do not use aggression, disrespect, rudeness. Yeah, because then you start to get disrespecting and you start to get rude, and then all that does is make the other person be more rude and more disrespectful back to yourself. And then you're getting yourself into this catch-22 situation, like, oh my God, why are these people being so rude to me? Why are they being so disrespectful to me? Okay, because you need to be in your own power. You need to understand who you are, stand in your own position, be who you are, and know how to present yourself politely, respectfully, in a way that gets you listened to and heard. So we're going to learn how to actually do this right now, okay, without shouting, without getting all crazy, okay, which all that does is get you a reputation for being this person or this character that actually deep down is not the real you, it's not the real genuine you, okay. So yeah, assertive people are, can you see that? Assertive people are calmly spoken, they are open, they are polite, they are firm, they are cooperative, respectful of others, and they are good listeners. And this is all as opposed to being aggressive. So, aggressive people are angry and loud. They're manipulative, rude, stubborn, bullying, disrespectful, and intolerant. Yeah. Too busy. What does that say? Too busy ranting to listen. Okay. Or many of us would say today, narcissistic in nature. That's another word we would call it today. So, before you lose your cool in a testing situation, because people do like to test you, don't they, these days? Yeah, they really do. Take some dedicated time out to plan an assertive, not aggressive strategy. Okay, so this is actually advising us here. Maybe in communications with someone, in dealing with someone, take a breath, count a few seconds in your head, take a step back, take a breather, and think about what you are going to say before you go ahead and all this blah, 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 blah just start spurting out your mouth. That's a strategy in itself. Yeah. Okay, so assertiveness tip number 1. Decide what the issue is. For example, I want my friend to know that she can't walk all over me anymore. That's example number 1. Assertiveness step number 2. Decide if your complaint is fair. Okay. Look carefully at the whole issue to make sure that you've played no part in causing the friction. Okay. Third, decide if assertive behaviour is appropriate with this particular person. So this is actually saying to us, okay, sit down, step back, take a breather, assess the situation. Am I right in this situation, or is the other person right in the situation? Yeah, because there's no point being in a restaurant and then having to go to the waiter saying, you know what, where's my wine? Okay, where's my Merlot wine? Yeah, my Merlot wine is not at the right temperature. Okay, when you didn't speak clearly and what you actually asked for was Perignon or something, Perignon, you know, and then you're moaning, you're shouting, you're having a go at the waiter for bringing you the wrong drink. That's not being assertive, that's being aggressive. So it's saying, you know, are you sure your complaint is fair, first of all? Okay. Like, what is the issue? Are you sure it's the other person and not you? Check yourself. Okay. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, in other words. And then decide if assertive behaviour is appropriate. Like, is it worth me picking a fight with this waiter? Okay, if this waiter is like gonna be like 6'5", like some beef Michelin man looking dude, you know, like pick your beef who you're gonna have your beef with. So, like, there's no point, is there, like, arguing with, you know, there's no point if you're at work and you're on the job and you have an issue with your colleagues, there's no point storming up to the head office and then going and just having a rant and a rave with the managers. Yeah, so pick your fight, pick your call. If your hassles involve a bully, then any sort of direct approach is likely to end with you being further bullied or even hurt. In this instance, you really must seek help from an adult. So as I said, this is a book for teenagers. So it's saying go and consult with somebody who has got a better handle on the situation, whether it's like another professional or somebody higher up, you know, or somebody who's got to know how to deal with the situation properly. In this instance, you really must seek help from an adult, yeah. And I don't mean an adult who will be aggressive on your behalf. Okay, assertiveness tip number 4. What do you want to happen as a result of your assertive behavior? So this is a definite strategy. Okay, so what is the strategy telling us to do? Decide what the issue is. Decide if your complaint is fair. Is assertive behavior appropriate? What do you want to happen as a result of your assertive behavior? So results. Number 4 is very important. Assertiveness step number 5, work out exactly what you're going to say. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Imagine what their reactions will be and try to plan your response in advance. Step number 6, don't be rude or turn into a bully. Stay calm. Be prepared to give constructive criticism, but also be prepared to tolerate a bit of destructive criticism. Right? Yeah. So, assertive communication includes the magic of body language. If you want to make the best possible impression, the only way to do this is to look people in the eye, to stand tall, and to keep still. No one's going to trust a person who avoids eye contact, who slouches, shuffles, and fidgets. Assertiveness is an important aspect of your self-respect because it's about confirming your rights. Everybody has rights. Yeah, and this was another section of the chapter I thought was very important. It talks about having a Bill of Rights. So it encourages us, the reader, to think about our rights, as a human in the world. It encourages us to observe ourselves and our right to be in the world, to exist, to feel valued, to feel appreciated. And it gives some suggestions here and encourages us to create our own, think about what do you value? How do you want to be treated? Yeah, and create a kind of manifesto, or a list of rights, how you would like to be treated. What does respect, respectful behavior towards yourself, what does that look like to you? What does that mean to you? Okay, so my Bill of Rights, it's got it here. It says, when your list is complete, design a Bill of Rights poster and put it somewhere prominent. My Bill of Rights. I have a right to be treated well. I have a right to be listened to. I have a right to ask for something, even though I might not get it. I have a right to privacy. I have a right to make up my own mind. I have a right to be happy. I have a right to be different. So, as I said, it then encourages us to create our own. Okay, so that's that chapter. And there was another, was that it? Oh yeah. So, there's another chapter about standing up for yourself. And again, what does it mean to stand up for yourself in real practical terms? What does that mean? What does that look like? So, are you someone who can't do enough for other people? Are you a people pleaser? Do you always put the needs of others first? Are you the classroom agony aunt who listens to everybody else's gripes? Do you feel that no one is ever there when you need a shoulder to cry on? If any of these ring a bell, it's time for you to look at why you spend so much energy helping other people. What book are you reading? So I was in the library and there was about 4 books in the teenage section that just stood out to me, and this was one of them. And I said, you know what? You're never too old to, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of good advice in this book, even for someone who's not a teenager. And lo and behold, that was the truth. Yeah. Self-esteem and being you. So if you do things for other people in order to feel good, then you've got to make some changes. You've got to stop investing your happiness and fulfillment in others. You have to take charge yourself. Second, all this activity makes it impossible for you to look at the state of your own life. So are you busy going around helping other people, helping everybody else, but then you don't attend to your own life, your own home, your own what's going on domestically, emotionally, and all of this, financially, materially, in your own life, your relationships. Yeah. When you're so involved with the problems of others, you don't have to face your own. As we mentioned in chapter 2, being constantly on the go means that you don't have the time to think about yourself. Third, putting the needs of others before your own and not standing up for your rights is an announcement to the world that you don't think very highly of your own problems, your own opinions, feelings, and ultimately yourself. And finally, a person who is always helping often does it because they need to feel needed. When they don't get the appreciative feedback that they so desperately require, they are resentful and hurt. When you help someone for the right reasons, there is no expectation of reward or self-interested satisfaction, only the pleasure of having helped. All this boils down to the difference between being a genuinely caring person and one who simply appears to be well-meaning. Some people are like that, some people, they like to help other people in their life and with their problems, and then after all of that, they turn around and they're like, oh, nobody cares about me, nobody ever, bothers for me, nobody helps me with my problem. Yeah, some people are like this. And the reason, because you're sending out that signal to other people. That's the signal you're sending out to others. Oh, I'm just here, for you, to help you with your situation, but you're not attending to yourself. You don't care for you. You don't care for yourself, first as a priority. So if you're not putting yourself first as a priority, then why should they? Yeah, that's the advice that this is giving us. So then we have another 2 charts which distinguishes the 2 types of people. So we have the pretender and we have a genuine person. So this actually made me laugh when I read this, because I read that the pretender and I was like, oh yeah, I do that. I'm like that. And that's where I recognized for myself, I need to make some changes. So it says the pretender. What is that? The pretender pretends to agree when actually they don't agree. And I was like, oh yeah, I do that. I do that. I'm like, yeah, I'll go, oh yeah, just to keep the peace. Yeah, just for the fact of being lazy, to not give my own opinion and to have a more in-depth discussion or more in-depth conversation about a thing. Yeah, I'll be like, yeah, just to agree when I don't even really agree. I was like, oh yeah, I do that. Say yes to everything. The pretender talks all about their good deeds. And many people I know are actually guilty of this, and it's not like to judge anybody. It's not to say, oh, this person's a bad person, this person's a good person. It's just, we all do these things, and that is, talking only just about your good deeds, and many of us do this because we don't want to open up, we don't want to be vulnerable, we don't want to show that more vulnerable side of ourselves, maybe when we have made mistakes or when things in our life have failed, especially in the climate of today and of social media where we all just want to put our best face on and present our best, to the world and to other people. We don't really want to admit or show to other people when things are actually like going wrong in our life. But it's actually, that's another skill in itself, is to actually show a bit of vulnerability. And the thing is that when you show vulnerability, it makes you more human to other people, and I would say more likable. Yeah, it does actually, because it makes you connect more with others on a more like soul level, you know, when you actually open up and show your misgivings, show like your mistakes or your failings or areas where you feel a little bit insecure, a little bit vulnerable. Like if you think of people that, you look up to, role models or celebrities, like someone that you really admire, in the public eye, and when they actually, when you watch an interview of theirs or something, and they're revealing something quite something that they've been struggling with, actually it makes you warm to the person and like the person even more than you did before, because you go, oh yeah, oh yeah, I'm like that. Oh, they're like me. Even though the celebrity, they got so much money, like you empathize, you feel more for the person because you're like, oh yeah, they're like human, yeah, they're just like a normal person like me. Yeah, it makes you feel like that, and that is, I think, when you open up, make yourself a little bit vulnerable. That is actually, it has actually the opposite effect, I think, than what we build up in our mind, what we think, because we're so busy heavily judging ourselves, criticizing ourselves. We've all got that negative self-talk going on in our head. We're thinking that, oh, if I open up about this, if I show my vulnerability about this, that, the other person's gonna like think this about me or judge this. But 9 times out of 10, the other person on the other side is much more kinder to yourself than you are to yourself. Yeah. So, and it's taken me like in the last like good like couple of years like to realize, and understand all of this as well. So, the pretender lives through others. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I can do that as well, actually. But I think we all, in this day and age, we all do that a little bit. I think we're too busy being spectators of other people and their lives. We're too busy being like highbrow over other people's lives, and say, I'm not like that. I'm too busy watching other people and how falling over and the mistakes that they've made, and like laughing at other people like who are like maybe just trying or something, or we're all a little. I think we all can be accused of being like that, actually, living through other people. We do that. Okay, so a genuine person. What is a genuine person like? A genuine person is honest. Okay, is selective. Okay, so they're not busy trying to be friends with absolutely everybody in the crowd. They're selective about who they choose as their company. Asserts their rights. Okay, and a person who asserts their rights to say, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. No, don't do that, please. I don't like that. Okay. Again, we actually warm to people like this. I think we like people like that more. This will get you more liked because you're showing like how to explain? You're asserting yourself. You're showing like you respect yourself. Yeah. You're showing that you actually consider yourself, you care for yourself, you have self-respect. Okay. And when you're showing to other people, I respect myself, other people will mirror that respect back to you. Yeah. Okay, so a genuine person says nothing. Okay. And I've been learning this actually in the last couple of months or so. It's a skill I've been learning, which is a lot of, let's not be crude. Many times we get ourselves into gripes and into conflicts with other people over shit that is not even really our shit in the first place. And when we learn this, when we identify it, when we learn that, identify it, and step back, we do an internal assessment. Is this my shit? No, it's not my shit. That allows you to keep quiet when you don't really need to, you don't need to get involved. You don't need to speak. You don't always need to be in a combative state with other people. Yeah. A genuine person lives their own life, most definitely. So I've been on here about an hour, haven't I? So thank you so much for joining. As I said, I picked up this book from the library a couple of weeks ago, and I found some of the chapters really informative. They really, honestly, helped me. It was almost like doing a crash course in assertiveness training. Yeah, which is why I thought I would get online and I would share this valuable advice, these valuable suggestions with yourselves. And I really hope that you can have some great takeaways from this valuable information, and that it will help you in your own life, in your own journey. And I was going to mention actually the assertiveness training that I went on. All I can remember from that assertiveness training was the lady who was running the session. All I remember, there was about 20 of us, about 10 or 20 of us, or the females. And she had a roll of toilet paper roll. And the toilet paper roll had to be passed from one to the next person. And she goes, each person take as much tissue, toilet paper, as you wish. She goes, stop when you feel like. And me being like, thinking I was being, like clever or something, I was there like for ages, like, yeah, I'm going to take absolutely loads and loads of this tissue paper because I want to know what this game is all about. What is this? And just being like my awkward self, I took loads of it, ripped it off, gave it back to the lady. And then after that, she goes, okay, now, then after that, she told us what the game was going to, what this was all about. She goes, okay, now, however long the tissue roll is that you've taken, this icebreaker game it was. She goes, is how long you're going to speak about yourself and tell us about yourself to the rest of the group. I went, holy moly, trust me to just be like my mischievous, awkward self, and take like reams and reams of this flipping toilet paper. Now that means I've got to like stand here and like talk for the next flipping hour or hour and a half about myself, which I really hate talking about myself. And especially at that time, I would have preferred to go out the door and go get train back home or something than to stand for like a flipping hour just flipping talking about myself. I was like, flipping trust me. But so that was like the assertiveness training day that I had. As I said, I hope that you've taken away, I hope that this knowledge and information can enhance your day and enhance your week and enhance your month and your year, the new year, 2026. May you have many blessings coming your way for the new year. May all your dreams come true. But I'm coming off TikTok live now. Thank you so much for joining my live. Thanks to anyone who's gifted me. Thanks so much for supporting any of my lives that you have seen previously, because as I said, I was really surprised when TikTok sent me a post to let me know that I am actually in the top 20% of best global live content creation. I was really shocked. I was really like, oh my God, wow, I didn't know. I best get back on here then and start achieving more of my TikTok live goals. Yeah, well, I'm coming off here now. Thank you so much for joining. See you later. Bye-bye.